Live martial arts class, you'll discover how to defend yourself with a cane for beginners. Grab a cane and follow me. If you don't have a cane yet, you can do all of these exercises with a collie stick or with a walking stick. This is great for walking stick self-defense. Now, since we do have the cane, I'm gonna show you a simple warm-up to lubricate the joints. Right here, you're gonna hold the cane right on the crook and you're gonna make a cranking motion. Pushing forward is gonna twirl that through your hand. Now, twirling the cane is not self-defense by itself, but like everything else, this teaches proprioception and spatial awareness, where this thing is moving in space and time. It's also gonna help you start to spin it through your hand. In this position, you bring it up, it slides down a little, and then you strike really hard. As we warm up, I wanna tell you what I saw yesterday, which is why we're using the cane today. I was with my kids here in the school, and right next to us, just across the street, is a liquor store. There are liquor stores everywhere down here in South Florida. Turn your hand over and bring him back. I saw a guy walk out, big guy, and a little bit older, and he had a handle of Captain Morgan, a big giant bottle of Captain Morgan liquor in each hand. He kept looking over his shoulder, walking kind of funny. And I thought to myself, I think that guy just stole those from that liquor store. Just then, the owner of the store, who's a really nice guy, comes running out, screaming, yelling. He's got his mask on and his gloves, and the guy takes off running. Kind of a fast, weird run. His pants are falling down. He's trying to hold up his pants with his liquor bottles, and he gets away. I'm not going after him because my kids are here, and I wouldn't do that. That's just stupid, right? If I were by myself, man, I would have been in the news. You would have saw me on the news yesterday. We would have had a lot more viewers on this video today because I would have taken the guy down and waited for the police to come. Here's the important part of the story. All right, go back to this spin. When I did see the policeman later that day, because he came in to work out at the gym next door, no police responded, by the way, even though the owner of the store called the police, people across the street called the police, and the police officer said to me, yes, we're getting a lot of these calls, and we're not responding unless it's a murder or a shooting or a stabbing. He said, and the criminals know it. He said, if we all go down, if all the police officers go down with Wuhan, with the COVID or whatever, they all get sick, then it's pandemonium. So they're being very selective on how they respond. So there are a lot more robberies, burglaries, a lot of strong arm robberies, a lot of guys walking around the park. If you are outside of your house, spin on the other hand, and they're taking advantage of it. They know they're not going to jail. They know that no one's even coming. The police officer said that what will happen is you call it in and then someone will write it down and call you back at a later time and get your information. That's happening everywhere. And I thought, well, that's kind of scary if you're just walking around and law enforcement's not out there taking care of minor crimes or misdemeanors, things like robberies, theft, people breaking into your car, and that's what the police officer told me yesterday. Now, I'm not criticizing them. I'm not saying that they're doing the wrong thing. I think they are, because if they all get sick, then we really are in trouble, right? So put back in the other hand, we're still spinning. Anyway, my point is, you can take this thing anywhere. I have another one of these, and it sits right on my passenger seat when I drive around with my kids. If I put my nunchucks there, or if I put my collie sticks, especially those metal ones, if I put collie sticks there and I get pulled over by a police officer, they see that as a weapon. If I stick it under my seat and a police officer takes me out for any reason, looks in there, he sees that as a weapon. I know this because I was law enforcement. I was a police officer in the military, and I would see that as a weapon. And there's a code against that, and you can write someone a ticket. You could take them to jail if you thought that was important. But here's what I'm telling you. If I stick this on the seat next to me while I'm driving, they can't say anything. It's not a weapon. And they can't make me prove it. They can't make you prove it. The walking stick that you use, or the cane, the walking cane that you use, is a medical device. And there's no law, especially in this country, that says you have to justify your need for it. So now, you're walking down the street, the thugs know, the criminals know, they can get away with coming up and taking your stuff, and they get in your face, and they're very aggressive, and you put your hands up and say, stop, back up. They don't back up. This is like a collie stick. It hits extremely hard. And when you hit something with that, you're gonna compress that flesh, you're gonna break those bones, you're gonna give them contusions, you're gonna be able to effectively defend yourself with a walking stick. Now the only issue is, are you going to have some ego problem with carrying a walking stick? Maybe for the next few weeks, if you have to be out and about, you get over that and you say, you know what, I'd rather be safe than worry about my ego. Now, if you're somebody who happens to need one, then this exercise will give you a little bit more confidence, because even sitting in a chair, and I've done a lot of these videos where I'm demonstrating, and when I teach people in person how to use this thing, and you can hear it. I mean, it hits so hard. We put it on the bag, we play around hitting different things, and it just smashes them, like a watermelon. We did that one weekend, put the watermelon out there, started smashing it up, just to see what would happen, right? Because I'm not gonna tell you to carry one of these things if I didn't realize it works. A month and a half ago, true story, there was a guy in the penitentiary here. I think he was a lifer. There were 2 other lifers, child molesters, that were in the area. And these guys, I mean, thank God I've never been to the pen, right? But I think there's a lot of mental illness there, and just people who are touched and wrong in their head. The guy had a cane. He beat him to death. 2 guys with his cane. And I was thinking, it's gotta be a special cane, right? No, it's just a stick walking cane, just like this. Just a simple walking cane that you can get for like 20 bucks from CVS or any of the pharmacies. And they all work about the same. Just don't get the one that pulls apart and changes, right? Hello from France. All right, so back to the training. Once you've warmed up back and forth, I want you to practice putting your weight on the cane, using it to assist you with your mobility. Very simply, walking. Then, in your mind, imagine the threat is coming. Remember the rule of the weapon? Put the weapon between you and the threat. Your hands come up. You step back into a better position. You put your hands up. You put this in their line of sight so that you interrupt their pattern, right? And you say, stop. And if they don't, you have this first angle strike. So that's what you're gonna practice first. So from here, get in this position, right foot in front of the left, that's the right hand, striking straight down. And go slow at first, just a couple times, and then start to go faster and faster and faster. Because when you train with a weapon for self-defense, you must go as hard as you can in the air first. And then if you can, hit a bag or hit whatever. But don't get into this habit. A lot of people love to have perfect technique, and that's very important, right? But they never increase the speed. You've got to feel that. You've got to make that mental connection between this position, you picture in your mind, use your imagination, there's a threat. Make sure you're behind your weapon. They don't stop, you hit whatever's coming at you. That's the basic rule. Yeah, it does work with sword cane. The one thing that I'll say with the sword cane is, if you pull out a big sword and then you gotta go to court, justify why you hacked somebody up, why you were carrying a sword cane anyway. And yes, if it's life or death, you or them, don't worry about that stuff until later. But if you want just protection, simple common sense. This is made out of rattan. It's exactly the same weight as that collie stick. If I cut this off right here, from here to here, that's the exact same length as my collie stick. Yes, it works with the sword cane. It's the same techniques because it's a sword. Basic sword motion, right? Jam right into their eyeball. Back to the training. So I want you to do this one first, coming here. And when you do that, practice getting it tight onto your shoulder. And there's a reason for that. From here, in this position, stop, stay back. From here, I can hit almost anything, and nothing's in my way. The ceiling's not in my way because I'm coming out from here, right? You can bring it up from here, up on high, down low, and that's a nice, strong power strike, but you don't need all that. You just need, very quickly, get them out of your face, right? They're coming in, they're trying to grab, and it's like, let's get the rope dart out. Once the weather clears or they let me go back to the park, I'm gonna do the rope dart for you. All right, from here, it's on your shoulder. This is your first strike. Then I want you to get tight, bring it up to that other shoulder. Keep this other hand up. That way, if they do throw a punch or two, you flinch into it while you're hitting them, right? So from here, stop, don't get any closer, I'll defend myself, and then 1, practice 2. 1, 2, 1, and again, harder and faster, as hard as you can, as fast as you can. Then, after these two, turn that palm up. And this is really important. I've seen other instruction. I was in a class even with a guy years and years ago who taught the cane, and back then, the guy teaching it, I don't think was different. It's different from the style that I'm teaching you right now. I didn't understand it then. Maybe I missed the point of it. But one thing I remembered so clearly was he was teaching from here, just bring it up, bring it up. The problem with that is, and this happened in the training, guys started hitting it against the bag, and watch what happens. That just creates leverage. It just pulls your fingers right off. You don't want that, right? Don't lose your cane. Instead, turn your hand under. Palm up. Bring it through that way. Bring it through this way. So from here we've got 1, 2, turn that hand up, 3, down to the other side, same thing, 4. This hand, and just think of that sword cane. Think of a machete. Think of a short sword. Chopping, 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 chopping. Now we're coming straight through and back. Now here's the other thing I want you to see as you're doing this training is the height that you're going to strike can change. It's very fluid. You want to be present in the moment. This is where Mushim, or empty mind, comes from in the martial arts. Mushim is a Korean term. But it's that idea of an open mind, empty mind. Be present in the moment. So where's the threat? You practice hard like this in training so you can be present in the moment, so you can respond instead of panicking. Right now, there's a lot of panic everywhere. Everybody's freaking out for good reason or bad. I don't know why. It doesn't matter. Something this big, don't try to understand it, right? Just try to see how can you respond to it to protect yourself and your loved ones and do the best that you can and be ready to take advantage of an opportunity to grow and have a better life and help as many people as possible. That's what you got to do. So this is preparation, not panic. When you panic, you react. The threat comes in, you're on the ground and they're kicking your teeth in. You're reacting by pulling a ball, right? Preparation means you got this out. You're walking. The threat's way over there, across the street. If you can, don't take a chance. If you can cross the street, stay away from it, you do. Let's say you can't. All of a sudden they came out from where you couldn't see, and then you're like, hey man, back up. Don't come any closer. I'll defend myself. Well, how do you defend yourself, old man? You got the walking cane, right? Bam! And you hit him. It's that simple. Pay attention. That's the first rule of self-defense. Always. These are principles, right? All these techniques are very important. Learn techniques, but understand principles would allow you to respond instead of react. Because this is how I'm training you, right? But let's say it's a dog, a pit bull, who's been abused. Or maybe, his owners, they read some story that dogs are getting the Wu hand. And you can get, this one came from Century Martial Arts. I'll put the link in here. Century doesn't give me any money or for anything, but I'll just show you where I got mine. But you can get these, you can get a simple cane from Amazon.com for like 12, 13 bucks, and it's gonna do exactly the same thing. I got them, I tried them, they work. And if you start hitting stuff with them, it'll probably last you about 3 to 6 months, depending on how hard. And if you learn how to hit right, you wanna do a slicing motion, not a chopping motion. Slicing, like you'd slice through a warm, big, fat, juicy piece of sourdough bread, right? A big loaf. If you just come straight down with your knife, you're just gonna squish it. So you have to learn how to cut it by slicing. So these are all slicing motions, right? All right, so back to the dog. The dog's running around, mauling people because the owners, yes, exactly like a sword slice. The owners, and if you chop with your sword, you'll either get your sword stuck. By the way, that's why there's all those blood grooves and like the fighting knives and stuff. It's because the muscle is gonna hold on to it when you get the cut in there. So you have to be able to turn it and open it up and let the air go through, the blood flow out. It's the same kind of thing, same slice though. The dog's down there, he's down here. But, so it's all about how high, where are you doing the strike? It's all the same strike though, that's my point. So you can do this strike, you can do this strike. The next one, you're coming through the middle. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the last one I'm gonna have you do is come straight down the middle. Just think of splitting them open from top to bottom, right through their nose. Bam, right on the top. Your hands are here. Always start in this position. I want you to make the mental connection between using it as a mobility device. It's gonna help you walk a little bit better. By the way, if you have this, you have a lot more confidence to punch and move if your mobility is not that great. That's why I love these. I love these for people who actually need them the most. But if you don't actually need it for walking yet, you can still carry it, look fashionable, look kind of cool. And again, get your ego out of the way. If it's for a few months anyway, protect yourself. If you have this and you don't have any other choice, this against the knife is better than this against the knife 100 times, 1,000,000 times, right? This against someone bigger and stronger trying to smash your face in is better than this. It's a big, hard stick that's just gonna slice them up. It's gonna open them up for self-defense. It's for self-defense. All right, so here's your exercise. I want you to bring it up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, down, and then put it in the other hand. Go back to your starting position. This is my left hand now. My hands come up. Now watch what happens when I bring my hand up on the cane. I allow it to slide a little bit. That's why I want you to do a lot of this. I love the spinning and the twirling. This is good to engage the core, make you sweat, get stronger and faster, but you're not going to do that against the attack. You are going to be able to move this thing around without looking at it, without thinking about it. It's going to become an extension of your body. The only way to get that is through all of this kind of spinning. These are 2 out of many twirls or spins you can do. One hand to the other one. Just do that for your warm-up. All right, so now it's in your left hand, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, down. And I want you to add, I love the spinning, it's cool. But I'm gonna make a video later today. The topic is about the bow staff. You can spin it, but can you fight with it? Do you know how to fight and defend yourself with it? You have to be able to do both, because the purpose of the staff is not the spinning. The spinning is secondary to the purpose, which is fighting and self-defense. Same thing with this. Purpose is not the spinning, but you need the spinning. It's gonna build strength, speed, power, keep everything safe from injury. So learn both. Don't resist just because you don't understand it. Do it, and then later, if you still don't understand it, then don't do it. But at least do it. It's like when you're a kid and your dad says, go clean your room. And you wanna say, Dad, why do I have to clean my room? Wrong answer. Ask him, clean your room, then go back and say, hey Dad, why did I have to clean my room? And then he might say, oh, well, so that everything looks nice and neat, your mom's not gonna get so upset. Whatever the reason is, right? So when you come back, your room is clean. What part of Michigan? I used to go up to Lake Higgins every single summer and do a summer camp up in Higgins Lake. It's up near Grayling. And when I was in the Marine Corps, and when I get into the reserve, and then also in the Army National Guard, we used to train Grayling all the time. The place is so cold in the winter. So cold. I loved it. One of the cold weather, you wouldn't think, middle of Michigan. But man, if you live up there, you know what I'm talking about. All right. I hope, if you're in Detroit, you better get one of these. I'm not saying, I know Detroit's having a comeback, right? But you still need one of these. All right, back to the training. I keep digressing. Last thing I want you to do with these strikes. You're here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember to turn that hand over, down, and then I want you to put your other hand on it and step forward. Oh, you are in Detroit. Kelastema, that's what they say down here. From here, no, I know, there are parts of Detroit that are really beautiful. All right, Grosse Pointe. I lived in Dayton, Ohio, and Columbus for most of my life, so I spent a lot of time up in Michigan. From here, 1, 2. In fact, I just moved down here. But it's gonna be 90 degrees today. I'm gonna swim in the pool, and the sun shines every day. I'm not trying to rub it in, I'm just saying I'm so glad to be out of Dayton. I love the people, but the weather, not so much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, down. This is like a rifle bet. Somebody asked me recently, imagine like your Marine Corps, Army from years ago, and there's a bayonet, which is just a big long knife. On the end, jab, jab, jab. That's all you're doing. This is such a power jab. Then from here, instead of dropping it, now I'm hitting you with this big hook right here. That's like a big punch coming right in your face. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, down, grab it, support it, and jab. Other hand, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, down, and then jab, and then the other side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and jab. Last thing I want you to see. I'm holding it here, right? Like little push-ups. The guy grabs it right here. And I wish I had someone here to show you, but we can't. We're all closed because of the COVID. From here, just twist like this, right? If you're here and that twists, that's gonna put me in this position. And then you're gonna jam whatever side is up, down, and it's gonna break that wrist, or at least create so much pain, because the wrist isn't supposed to move like that, it's gonna drive them to the ground. So you're gonna practice this to finish. One, hard, hard. And when you do this, don't lean forward. 1, 2, that's it. 1, 2. Remember, I want you to practice like you're fighting. I don't want you to move like slow, lethargic. At the beginning, 2 or 3 of those, and then hard. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Just here, and all you're doing now is, and this is a power move. You just bring your hands straight down like a hammer fist, right on top of his head. He's still holding on to that. When that comes down, he's on the floor. All you have to do is take a step and shove. Take a step and shove, and then they're gonna fall down. They're out of the way. So let's review. This is your warm-up. Remember the reason for the warm-up? Proprioception, get a feel for how it moves through space and time. Spinning. I like to do this for 30 seconds on each side, other hand, and then get in the habit of leaning against it just a little, step up and say, stop. Use your verbal command. Tell them, stop. And then smashing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and jab, and then the other side. Up, 1, 2, up, up, through, back, down, jab, and then at the end, after you've done that for at least 30 seconds per side, if not longer, up and straight down, up, straight down, up, straight down. Before I go, let me grab a chair real quick. I know I'm disappear for a second. Be right back. All right, it's just a regular chair, but here's what's so cool. And hold on, take a deep breath. I'm gonna move the camera, don't get sick. Got it. You use this for mobility. Or let's just say you've got it with you for whatever reason. It's on the passenger side of the car. The door opens or you have to come out. You grab it. It's just an extension of your body, right? Let's say, I guess the door would be here if it's on the passenger side. You pick it up, jam. You can strike to the side. In fact, it's a good idea to practice doing it in the chair just so you know it works. This is my right hand. Here's my warm-up spin. I told you I can do everything in the chair that I can do standing. Across the body and back. If you do use this for mobility, because maybe you have an injury or you've always used a cane, this is going to build your confidence, which you need to get out and roam the world and get stronger, but it's also going to build your muscle. It's going to help you, some movement's going to help you have more movement. Same thing, across the body, across the body. Go back to the first hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, jam. They grab the middle, up, down. It all works exactly the same, whether you're standing or sitting. Let me know in the comment section what else you want to work on. Thanks so much for participating in the chat today. I will see you on the next one.